Welcome, welcome. Episode 18 Practicing Gratitude. I am so grateful for the weekend, first of all. The weekend is one of my favorite times of the week because I need that reset. I don't know about you, but the weeks can be long and grueling. And so, a lot of times on the weekends, the major thing that I look forward to is sleep. Oh, I slept so much this weekend. It was glorious. Glorious. One thing I also did was binge watch a show. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's kind of getting a lot of, buzz. It's a show called All Her Fault. It's on Peacock. Y'all, this show had me invested. I kept watching and watching. It's one of those shows I couldn't stop watching. I fell asleep watching it. Next day, I had to wake up and watch the previous episode because I fell asleep. But it was so good. It just kept you on the edge of your seat. It was definitely one of those whodunit type of shows. I'm into that. So it was good, really good. So if you have not watched All Her Fault on Peacock, get into it. Grateful for that writing and that acting. Amazing. Okay, so as we get into this episode, practicing gratitude, I want you to think about why we need to have gratitude in education. There is plenty that we could sit back and complain about. And sometimes, I'll be honest, we do. But when you really think about what you're grateful for in this profession, it really brings things back into perspective. So, we count a lot of things in education. We count, our papers, we count how many grades we have, we count, our problems. We also can count our progress. We look at data. We see, how many students did this and how far do we have to go for that. But one thing we really need to be intentional about is counting our blessings. We have a bunch. So today we're talking about gratitude, not just the Thanksgiving holiday version, but just the everyday, real count your blessings type of gratitude. And today, I want you to really think about how it can be a grounding practice and that it helps us lead with joy each and every day. So, I want to get started with our key message. And I even said this to, a staff member. It's not about being fake. You don't have to be that, toxic positive person that's like, oh my gosh, everything's perfect. The day is great. That's fake. And we all know it. You're going to get upset and things are going to get annoying. Things happen. And that's just life. But it is something that we can do to notice the good. That is a practice that takes work. And you have to really push yourself to do it, especially in moments where you don't want to. That is not the, go-to practice for most of us. We have to notice the good at those tough times. And gratitude is simply awareness, being aware. You just have to notice what's present, what's working, and who's supporting you. That's one thing you can do because everything and everyone is not against you. If you sit back and notice what's working and who's helping you, you'll actually feel a lot better. You are not alone. And that is a beautiful thing. And that is something to be thankful for. And so you can also clarify the difference between yourself, things just being fake and saying that everything is great when it's not, and true gratitude. And it's annoying. I know for a fact it is annoying when you're feeling bad and you're, upset and somebody goes, but look on the bright side. You have clothes on your back. It's like, that is not, that I don't need that right now. It's better when that noticing of gratitude comes from the situation. So yeah, look on the bright side, but look on the bright side of what? If you're going to be supportive in that way, then what exactly is right about this situation? It could have been this, but it wasn't, or, things like that. Make sure it's tied to the actual situation. I think whenever you go through things that are tough, it teaches you something. You never lose in this profession. Everything is a lesson. You're going to learn each and every day. I learn something new every single day. I don't think I'll ever be, the very best that I can be, but I am going to work on it every day. I am going to work toward being better every day. But I don't feel like I'll ever reach the pinnacle of my best. That's just me. People might say that's weird. that seems like you want to have some type of goal. Of course, I want to have a goal, but my goal is to be better every day. Learn every day. So, there have been plenty of challenges that I've tackled in the past year, in the past few months, in the past week. But when I sit back and think about what I was thankful for in those moments, I can say that I took something away from each one that taught me a lesson and helped me be better. So I'm grateful for all of those challenges because I learned from them. When it comes to being a leader with, what we talked about last week, your five voices. Mine is the nurturer. That's my top one. And then my second one was connector. And then my third one was creative. My nurturing side, which I'm thankful for, is I see people pretty quickly. I can tell people's intention and I can tell people's heart and where they're actually coming from. And even when it feels negative or it feels like it's something meant to, take you down, I realize that that's not what's happening. A lot of times it's coming from a place inside of those people that it has nothing to do with me. So I can see that and I appreciate their heart. Even if it's not the best situation, I can appreciate that they're human and they're dealing with something that has nothing to do with me. And so I just can see the heart and the effort in other humans. That's the nurturing side of me. Sometimes it's a curse, but it's who I am, and I count it as a blessing. I'm also a connector. I like to build relationships through affirmations and just recognizing people meaningfully. Some people don't like to be recognized in public. Some people don't like public praise. But it's okay to do it from time to time, even if they're shy or don't enjoy that. Just a little bit here and there, I still think makes a difference. There are people who think it matters more when you do it in private, and that's fine. I am one that will tell people to their face, you're really good at this, or I see something in you. I have no problem saying that to people because I mean it. I don't think enough people hear what's going well for them and what they do really well or what you see in them. People don't hear the potential that others have in them or others see in them. I wouldn't be where I am today if several someones didn't say to me, I really see something in you. I really think you could do this, or I really think you should go this route because I see all kinds of potential in you. And let me tell you why. You remember when you did that, like they were very specific and they had facts to back up why they felt that way about me. And it made a difference. It changed my life when I was a little girl, when I was younger, when people would tell me that you're going to be somebody, you're going to do something in life. I took that to heart. There were times when I heard the opposite. And I could have taken that to heart too. There were times when I was told you won't be anything and you're not going to do anything in life. And instead of letting that be my focus, I chose to listen to the others. And it made all the difference. So that's my connector side, just wanting to build relationships and just telling people by affirming them and having some sort of meaningful recognition for people. And then my creative, I do see possibilities and I use gratitude to spark, hope and vision. Anyone that's had me as a leader knows that I like to spark hope and I like to spark vision. I want people to see the big picture and where we're trying to go. And I want them to feel like we can get there. If we don't have that, nobody's willing to work toward nothingness. Nobody's willing to get up every morning and work hard toward the abyss. No one wants that. Anything that you are working on in life, you need a goal. You need to feel like you're working toward something and that you're actually making progress. If you don't feel that, then what is the point? We all would ask that question. What is the point? If I'm doing so horribly, if I'm not making any progress, why am I here and why am I doing this? That's how I feel. And so it's important for me to hear and for me to see that there's progress being made and that we're working towards a goal and we're inching steps closer each and every day. It's important. So my 5 voices help me to be grateful and just show that gratitude. I also want to talk to you about some practices that can build culture. If you are, a campus leader or you are a specialist or even a teacher, a parent, you have a culture of your house. You can build culture in many different ways in many different places. But if you are a teacher, for example, some different ways to build culture. It can be a daily 3 good things, maybe at the beginning of the class, maybe at the end of the class. But that 3 good things could be verbal. It could be time for students to journal and write about 3 good things that happened today. It could be a turn and talk with a peer real quick. So just some ideas. You can even have, just a Friday celebration about something that went well that week. Maybe the class average on an assignment was really great and you just want to celebrate them. Take some time on Friday just to give them kudos and let the kids know that was awesome. And y'all did that. And maybe student gratitude circles is another idea. Break them up into triads and let them discuss what they're grateful for there. And maybe they can post, and I thought about this the other day, where there's sticky notes or maybe an anchor chart outside the door or right inside the room on the door, and they just kind of write what they're grateful for throughout the week. And they don't have to do it every day, but by Friday they should have put one sticky note on there, and there it is. That's something that you are grateful for that week. And by the end of the week, the whole class has had their focus on something that they're noticing that went well, something that's pushing them forward, something that, helps them get up every morning and look forward to learning. Makes a difference. Try it. If you are a leader, some ways to build a culture of gratitude would be to, start meetings with gratitude. Start meetings with telling people that you're thankful for them and why. We do that at my campus when we have our staff meetings. There's always a moment just to be grateful for each other and take some time to share what someone else in the room has done for you that you appreciate. We also have times where we are doing gratitude we write little notes, like an awesome citation, I think they call it. And those citations are put on doors in the building for whomever they belong to. And that person just gets, like a sweet reminder that they're doing something right. And that matters. And so that's one thing. And then you could also shine the light on people that aren't always thanked or noticed. It might be the custodians. It might be the lunch crew. It might be the officer on campus. It might be the grounds crew that cuts the grass. And just take a moment to thank people. It matters. Just use gratitude to frame conversations about growth and be thankful for what people bring to the table. We just want to take a moment to think about in our families what we could do to shed some light on what we're thankful for. It's not just for Thanksgiving. That should happen often so that you can shift focus. It is easy to get lost in the hustle and bustle and the grind of every week and every day. But if we take some time to just think about what went well and who helped us do well, then that can make a difference for the rest of the week. So then it also is important to know that just because you're thankful and just because you show gratitude, it doesn't mean that you're not going to struggle and things aren't going to be hard. But it does help you get through the hard times. It helps you. Just acknowledge the emotional and physical weight that you carry as an educator. It is heavy. We do not have an easy job. I say that week after week. It is probably one of the most challenging ones that there is. So just think about those times where you felt like gratitude was a mile away and it was really hard to pull out, but you got there. And once you got there, it felt good. Just be reminded that it doesn't require perfection. Gratitude doesn't require that you be perfect, okay? But it does require that you be present. And to show gratitude and to feel thankful, you have to go through stuff. I would not feel thankful as much as I am if I didn't go through challenges. And I go through them every day. Almost every day. Some of them are questionable, like, does this really have to be what it is? But without that, how can I be thankful and how can I show gratitude if I don't go through challenges? I need them to be able to do that. In education, you wanna be tough. It is really easy to run. It is really easy to fold. It is really easy to quit. All you have to do is leave. But you don't want to, because if it's in your heart, then it's not something that you want to abandon. You want to stick with it, even though it feels overwhelming. Thinking about gratitude, it's a quiet form of resistance. It's like saying, yeah, I know this is hard. Yeah, I know this is like war, but I'm going to focus on what's going well. I'm going to focus on who's here to help. I'm going to focus on what I've been able to accomplish and what we've been able to do together through all of this. That keeps you motivated and that keeps you going. It also helps you push back on that burnout. It's easy to be like, I am done and I need to go. Burnout is real. We know this. But the beautiful thing is, again, we have the weekends so we can binge shows and get through things that we didn't get to during the week. And it reconnects you to your why. I keep saying this, but if you are tied to a building or tied to particular people or something like that, then you're gonna be disappointed because you might have to change buildings and those people might not be working there all the time. You have to be tied to your why, your purpose. That way, no matter where you go, it's there. That brings us to our tip of the week. This week's tip of the week is the gratitude challenge. The gratitude challenge. This is where you need to write down at least one thing that you're grateful for every day. Do it for 5 days. Write down at least one thing you're grateful for every day for 5 days. Okay? It can be a student who brightened your day, a colleague who supported you, a moment of joy, something you learned, something you're proud of. And at the end of the week, you need to share some of your gratitude with others. You just call somebody, when you talk to somebody, let them know what you're grateful for that week. And that just helps to refocus you and ground you. And it just helps you feel better. You can even let somebody know that their presence mattered, and that makes all the difference. It really helps to ground you each and every day. So, one person, one moment, one thing that you're grateful for in education right now, write it down. Hang on to it. Put it on your mirror. Let it be what you focus on day to day so that you don't get lost in all the sauce. Find a focus. Let them see you rooted in gratitude, because when your heart is steady, then you can really show your leadership, your true leadership. Now, before I let you go, I want to remind you that the following week, the one coming up, is Thanksgiving break, and I'm about to break just like everybody else. When it's time to be off, I'm off. So you will not hear an episode from me. The next week, you probably won't hear from me again until December, which is fine. I think you'll be okay. But I want you to know that I'll be thinking of you. I hope that each and every one of you has a wonderful holiday break. Take some time to get outdoors, touch grass, literally and figuratively. Do that with the people you love the most, and try to find some gratitude. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Make sure that you bring others into our group so that they can show and share what they know about education. I like to learn, so I'm sure many of you out there have some tips and tricks to share with us. Share it. You can also email letthemseeyouPodcast@gmail.com. If you have any questions or would like to share some thoughts, feel free. If you'd also like to be on the podcast, that's the avenue. Let me know. I would be happy to reach out and see what we can do. Rediscover your joy, embrace your true self. Let them see you. Thanks for listening to Let Them See You. Until next time, climb with courage, stand in the light, let them see you.